Hello, this is Theolyn again, and I'm going to start as usual by drawing a card from the Angel Script pack. Before I do that, I want to just say a little bit about the pack, because so far I've always been showing you the characters. There are 23 characters in this deck of cards, and they are all in that similar vein. They have orbs of light and lines of light, and they've each got a name. And the name in English is one that was channeled by me. The original names were in Hebrew and relate to the Hebrew alphabet. But the angel script characters don't tend to look a little bit like Hebrew, I can tell you. So that doesn't get in our way. The rest of this deck of cards is made up of a series of 12 archangel cards and then one for the Holy Spirit. Now, the thing about the archangels in this deck of cards is that they aren't really like archangel or angel cards you may have seen in New Age decks. You know, they're not all pretty and sweet. There are some in there who demonstrate very feminine qualities, but some of them are more challenging. And these archangels are found on the Tree of Life, right? So the Tree of Life has a series of qualities of reservoir of energy, sometimes called gates of light, and each of those gates of light has a guardian, an archangel with a specific quality. And those qualities, and there are 10 qualities, but there are actually 12 archangels. I'll come to that later. But those qualities are all regarded as different aspects of the divine, different qualities, sometimes called the hands of God or the faces of God. And something else I should just say here is that the word archangel comes from the Greek. The angel bit means a messenger. The arch bit is generally thought of as meaning a great or a higher person, as in an archbishop, for example. And in ancient Greece, they had characters who were in charge of the administration called archons, and they were very high magistrates. So the Greek word does refer to a level or a status, right? But the word archai also means origin. So it's the archangel is an angel of origin. It's the angel who originates a certain kind of energy for us. So really important thing to think about. Okay, so having said all that, I'm going to introduce you to an archangel today. I wasn't planning it like that, but when I was in my meditation, it came to me very strongly through something else I drew that I should introduce you to an archangel called, where is he? Come along. Called Raziel. Now, Raziel, a key word for Raziel is wisdom, divine wisdom. And that doesn't necessarily mean wisdom in the sense of common sense. It's more to do with intelligence and the facility to acquire knowledge. It's often said that Raziel is the higher vibration of Gabriel, brings knowledge to us, brings information to us, communicates with us at incredibly high speed, like an electric storm. That's what he looks like. And we can associate him with the planet Uranus. And I was interested that he popped his head over the parapet just now, because we have just had, and it's still in orb, I think, a conjunction of the Sun with the planet Uranus. So full of surprises. And also to say about Raziel is there's a very powerful and ancient legend that Raziel delivered a book of wisdom to Adam and Eve by default, but I think it was Adam who got it. And the story, just briefly, is that when Adam and Eve were turned out of the garden for picking the apple, then Adam kept praying to God, to Yahweh, to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, please forgive us." And after 3 days of this complaining and ranting from Adam, God the Creator sent Raziel down to the human people and gave them some tablets, assumed or said to be carved into lapis lazuli. And why that's important for us, especially when we've been talking about time, is that the wisdom on those tablets was designed to support Adam and Eve coping in the world of time. They had been in paradise, which is a timeless world where everything was beautiful and perfect, and they didn't really have to do anything, and they certainly weren't going to suffer. But once they're out of there, they have to deal with the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, as Shakespeare would have put it. They have to deal with the concept of being in time, having children, children growing up, the children dying, children murdering each other, actually. So the Book of Wisdom gives them astrological knowledge. And that's something that we'll come to over the next day or so, because we were talking about the way perhaps things are fated, or perhaps we have free will. And that's a very important discussion when we think about astrology. So Raziel can be associated with the intelligent, pattern-making creativity of the divine, and brings messages to us that can be very startling and very immediate. It's like a sudden download of information when Raziel's involved. So I'm really pleased to introduce you to Raziel today. And if you actually want a copy of the Angel Script Cards, of course you can get them in my shop, just a little sales pitch there, but you may enjoy working with them. And the other thing I want to say, which isn't exactly a selling pitch, but it's an announcement of something free. I'm very shortly going to start a series of YouTube videos about the archangels called Path Working with Archangels. And these will be a free course. And there will be some content to download from the website, and then there will be YouTubes, which will be every other day during May. I'll announce the start date of this in an email and also on the website, so you can get deeper into these archangels if you're interested. Okay, so that was my rather long spiel about an archangel for today. So in order to just kind of tide us along in our usual system, I want to say that, coming back to the theme of time, that the archangels are sometimes make themselves present when people have near-death experiences. And the near-death experiences are very interesting to us, and I'll go into them a bit deeper tomorrow, because sometimes people have near-death experiences where they are told they can choose whether to carry on into the other world, die to this world, or whether they can they have the option to come back to family, sometimes to children. And there are quite a number of really interesting case histories we can discover, people coming back into their body and saying, I met a spirit guide or an angel or a member of my family who told me I could choose to return. So that's another topic which we'll address a bit further which relates to fate and free will. Okay, so to wrap up for today, after a really potent archangel to deal with, I've got a quotation I found from Confucius. And Confucius's dates, by the way, you've probably heard of the Chinese philosopher, his dates are 551 to 479 BCE. So that's about approximately 600 years before the Christian era begins. And that was a period of history when there were enormous number of remarkable teachers. There was Confucius, there's Socrates, there's the Buddha, and there was a great deal going on for humanity with these different teachers bringing their wisdom into the world. So, talking about Raziel descending from heaven and giving us astrological knowledge so that we could read the heavenly writing, read the stars, read the portents, here's a quotation from Confucius, which is called Heaven's Appointments. The superior man is quiet and calm, waiting patiently for heaven's appointments. The inferior person treads a dangerous way, always on the lookout for good fortune. So in this period of lockdown, perhaps we all need to adopt the position of the superior person and wait patiently for heaven's appointments. I'll be back again tomorrow. Stay joyful. Stay joyful. It's a beautiful world. Even when there are difficult things going on, it's beautiful. Stay joyful.